Hello everybody and welcome back to War Thunder. Got something a little bit more special for you today. We are doing a review of the Chieftain Mk main battle tank. Now, I know strictly speaking a review is supposed to be of a fully upgraded tank, although my Chieftain does have the first two tiers of modifications, so I'm halfway through, near enough. Well, I'd say I'm about a third of the way through, maybe. Anyway, so the Chieftain. This main battle tank was introduced in the 1950s, I do believe. May have been a little bit later than that. And they were stationed in West Germany. They were stationed in several other areas across the globe, which Britain had control of at the time, specifically given to units that were expected to fight the Soviet Union and the other Eastern Pact forces should they have pushed through the Iron Curtain and caused the generic fuckstorm of epic proportions. A little bit of interesting trivia on this tank before we get into the nitty-gritty bits and bobs. The engine was multi-fuel. Now, to me and you, that would mean that you can take any fuel you want, whether it be petrol, diesel, biogas, chip fat oil, you get the idea. Pour it straight into the petrol tank, turn the key or press the button or what have you, and the engine starts. It wasn't quite as simple as that. When these were stationed in West Germany, the vast majority of them, I'm not going to give an actual percentage or a number because I can't remember it off the top of my head. So what I can tell you though is that more of them were in the workshops being repaired than were combat ready. Pretty much. To swap the fuel over, they had to take the engine out. The mechanics had to fiddle around with the engine, put the engine back. This took like 4 or 5 hours. It wasn't a case of, oh shit, we're out of diesel, never mind, let's just get that chip fat oil over there from that chip shop in the corner, pour that in, and we'll be ready to... No, it wasn't like that, unfortunately. The only issue is that due to this engine's horrific unreliability, the multi-fuel system was utterly pointless. Because combat never actually happened and the tank was never in any sort of situation where it would need to use anything other than diesel, the whole idea was pointless. All it did was make the engine unreliable and a pain in the ass to work on. The actual tank, however, was quite good, which is, at the end of the day, what we're here to talk about. So, the Chieftain is an 8.0 battle rating, tier 5 main battle tank. It was, up until the last patch, or the patch before, the highest BR British tank in the game. It is now the Chieftain Mk, which I'm currently working on. We'll get to that in a minute. Yeah. Right, so, what should we do first? Let's do armour first, shall we? So, you'll know, those of you who've got a keen eye will have noticed that the Chieftain, or my Chieftain at the very least, has a talisman. There's a good reason for that. It's very well armoured. The front of the hull is 86mm thick, which doesn't sound like a lot, but because of the angle, 70 degrees at this part, on the driver's hatch it's 81 degrees, 325mm of equivalent thickness there, and as you can see the armour sort of slopes over, and it's layered as well. The upper part of the hull against heat FS is fairly good. The issue is that the British decided it was a good idea to put all of their armour on the top of, you know, on the upper part of the hull, which I suppose makes sense, but the lower plate is only equivalent to 100 and, let's try and get it in the centre, 118mm thick, which is 44 degree angle. High explosive fin stabilised shells will go straight through this. No messing. Okay, so the turret. The turret, as you can tell, is also layered armour, which is very nice. It's slightly odd shaped due to you have the machine gun ports this side, but this side there isn't any. So if a shell, I don't care if it's heat FS, if it hits here, it's going to bounce. Because the thickness, if it hits there, if it hits there, it's just going to bounce off. Same, you know, if you get this tank hull down, the worst anything is going to be firing at you is high explosive fin stabilized ammunition. From a tank, anyway. The British might be firing Sabo, they might be firing, you know, other countries might be firing armor-piercing ballistic capped or armor-piercing high explosive. In the case of the T-55A, which does get that shell, but anybody who's fully upgraded it is going to be firing heat anyway, because people just spam heat and think that that works. It does work. That is definitely a topic for another video. If you want me to talk about ammo types, I will. Leave a comment. You know, we'll get to that. So yes, there, 36-degree angle, 476 millimeters of effective thickness on the turret, on the side there. Yeah. Smoke grenade launchers are actually modelled as armour, but they're not armour really, they're just there. Side of the tank, what have we got? Well, we've got 13mm thick side skirts, which do help to a certain extent, but the actual side armour is only 41mm thick. Do not, I repeat, do not go around a corner in this tank, because you will be in a world of shit. If there's anything around the other side of that corner that's paying attention and it swings its gun to you, back the fuck up as quickly as possible. Do not go around the corner. Do not peek corners in this tank the conventional way. Be a little bit more, yeah, just don't do it. Yeah, so, rear of the tank, what have we got? Well, the ass end of the tank is 37mm thick. This is awful, but then if you're driving the tank properly, you shouldn't be getting shot in the ass anyway. Rear of the turret's 45mm thick. Not fantastic. So, let's have a look at the layout on the interior. Your ammunition racks, or at least your main ones, are at the front of the tank, in the middle of the tank, down low below the crew compartment, and in the rear of the turret. This is, I'll have a look at how many shells I'm carrying in a minute, but I'm not carrying anywhere near a full load. I think it's something like 25 shells for Hesh and 11 or 12 for armor piercing discarding Sabo. So I'm not carrying loads. This is normal. You could get rid of it from the turret maybe if you carried a few less, but then, as I said, from the front, if you cover up your lower plate, you shouldn't really have an issue, to be honest. I realise that that's very circumstantial, given that most of the maps in the game are fairly open. Anything like Kursk, forget it. Yeah, so, not great. The engine, a little bit of detail there, and there is the 575 brake horsepower engine. Very nice. So, let's move on swiftly, shall we? To the stat card. And normally I do this first, but the Mark III Chieftain carries a 120mm Royal Ordnance BLTK L11 gun, which can carry 53 shells, a 12.7mm L21A1 machine gun, this is a 50 caliber, and a 30 caliber 7.62 LA A1 machine gun. Turret rotation speed is 17 degrees a second. This sounds slow, but I assure you it's not that bad. Any of you who have driven the early T-54s will definitely know what a slow turret reverse is, and this is substantially better than that. Minus 10 degrees of gun depression. I expect this with most of my Western tanks in the higher tiers. And 20 degrees of gun elevation. Not great, but whatever, we'll deal with it. 9.1 second reload. This is not on a maximum crew. My crew is level 54. I do believe I've put all of my crew points into my loading speed, but the tank isn't fully upgraded or what have you anyway. In real life, I think the British Army estimated the reload rate for the first 10 minutes of combat to be somewhere around 7.5 seconds, and then after that around 9 seconds. So basically when the loader starts getting tired after the first 10 minutes of combat, he slacks a little, and that's what Gaijin has given us modelled into the game. Hull armour, 86 at the front, 37 at the side and rear. Turret armour, 250 at the front, 86 at the side, 45 at the rear. We'll leave armour penetration for a moment. Mass, 54.4 tons with a 575 horsepower engine. Gives you about 10 horsepower per ton, I think, if my math's right, but I failed maths, so you'll have to forgive me for that one. 41 kilometers an hour max speed. You're pushing it. you might want to push it off a hill to get 41 kilometers an hour. It's doable. It's definitely doable, but don't rely on that. Max repair cost is 4,575 lions. And you can see the rewards of what have you at the bottom. As I said, this tank is talismaned because I do very much enjoy driving it, which is strange coming from somebody. Amongst the people I play with, I have a reputation for being very good with my Russian 100mm guns, so the T-54s and the T-55A. But this tank I do quite like. So, let's go to modifications, shall we, and have a better look at those. Go to shells first. How many shells am I carrying? I can't tell you that. Right. Main point for this tank, which I absolutely fucking love. You get both of the shells right off the bat. The only thing you don't get is the smoke, but you get smoke grenade launchers anyway, which is what I would use over the actual smoke shells. You get armor piercing discarding sabot. At 100 meters, you have 397mm of pen. At a 90-degree angle, 387, and then 161 at a 30-degree angle. Fairly decent. However, at higher tiers, if you can kill a tank with one shot, which most people are able to do to you, then using something which basically boils down to pricking a tank with a pin at its main components in the hope that it will die is not the best option. Unless you kill the loader, the gunner, or the cannon breech first, or the gun barrel, so they can't shoot back, but even then, why bother? So, the Hesh shell. 17 kilogram shell, no wonder the loader got tired. Muzzle velocity is incredibly slow, but this is the same with most Hesh firing guns. The Hesh shells are just really fucking slow. Explosive type, RDX/TNT 4060, whatever the hell that means. 3.1 kilograms of explosives. 0.4 meter fuse delay, so 40 centimeter fuse delay, I think that is. Yeah. But the sensitivity of the fuse is only 0.1 millimeters. So as soon as it hits anything, it's going to explode. So what sort of... Now, you read the statistics, 152 mils of pen. That isn't really giving you the entire story. Anybody who first unlocks this tank looks at this shell and goes, fuck me, that's awful, I don't even get heat, and the penetration's only 150 odd millimeters. Yes, it is. But what you need to remember is that Hesh is a large shell with a very soft head, which molds to whatever it hits, covers it in explosive, and then detonates, which in real life caused a shockwave which basically knocked the crew unconscious. It was designed for taking out crew, not components, unlike heat, which produced a jet of very, very hot copper, which would pierce the armor and hit vital components that way. Hesh was just supposed to give them a mini earthquake inside their tank, pretty much. Oh, I imagine that's what it feel like. Anyway, I digress. This shell, if it hits the front of a T-54, at anywhere on the front of the tank, with the exception of maybe the tracks and very, very highly angled surfaces, it will kill the tank. Just like that. Dead. No worries. I do carry the sabot just in case I think I might need it, but Hesh is my go-to shell. Okay, so what else do we need to remember? I believe that's it. We've covered the armor, we've covered the modifications, we've covered the crew. Yes. Okay, so that's it for the garage part of this review. I will see you in the game. A little bit of a, interesting note. I wanted to record every game I got into. I'd get a kill and then die, usually quite spectacularly from an ATGM vehicle. But what I had done is recorded a bit where I got a few kills, and I was basically just going to stick all of the clips together and say, right, this is how good the tank is at killing things, this is what the armor is like, what have you. And then, however, just before I was about to finish recording, my last game basically summed up everything in one, so I'm going to use that. Anyway, I'll say it at the end of the video, but thank you very much for watching this review. If you liked, like the video, please like, share, subscribe, it really helps out the channel. And I'll see you in a moment. Hello everybody and welcome to the gameplay part of this Chieftain Mark III review. We are on Mosdoc, which is one of my favourite maps in the game, for ground forces at the very least. I just realised, having looked through this video, that the garage section of this review is actually longer than the gameplay. So hopefully, when I chatted shit at the beginning of the gameplay, the garage section of this review, it was informative to some of you, and you found it interesting. So, my lineup. Whenever I do review videos, I don't ever plan on dying. As much as I like to show that I'm not one of these people that cherry picks their best clips, for a review video, I will English, thank you. You need to get the full picture, and you need to see the tank get kills, yes, and you need to see it get killed as well. So those of you who were paying attention to what I just said probably realised that I won't survive this video. If you're one of those people, have a cookie, congratulations. And I wasn't being derogatory then, I was just taking the piss. Anyway, so, in this map, I normally go for the B capture point in the centre, which is what I'm going to be doing in this game. You see the mobility of the Chieftain here, going up that hill. I just dropped 10 kilometers an hour, just cresting a ridge. 29 kilometers an hour. This is the neutral steering on this tank. Don't even bother. Do not even bother. It actually steers faster at a standstill if you go in reverse and then turn, rather than trying to turn on the spot or turning whilst moving forward. Unless you get into, say, the third or fourth gear, the tank doesn't have enough momentum to spin itself to the left or the right. So just bear that in mind whenever you're in combat. Despite the armour, as I said, the lower plate is a massive weak spot of this tank. The side armour is fucking awful, the back armour is fucking... You can dogfight in this tank, so long as there are more of you than there are of whatever you're fighting, i.e. 2 of you, 1 T-54, 1 T-55A. But always make sure you are, prepared. I try to use this tank at long range if I can, but as I said in the garage section of the review, the Hess shells are diabolically bad as far as velocity is concerned. They are incredibly difficult to aim. It does take some getting used to. And as I also said, I'm quite used to using my T-54s, my T-55, my T-62. I like my Russian guns, and I'm reasonably good at using them, so that's what I'm used to. But if you're just driving this tank, who knows, maybe you'll get used to this instead, and it will all be gravy. So, there is an enemy tank in the capture point. That is a Gepard. How do you think I spotted him? One shot, goodbye, thank you for coming. Yeah, that was proper fucked. Right, so keep moving up. There is still something capping the point, so... Hello, what have we here? Don't bother putting the fire out. I need to kill this guy while he's still sat here. Guns reloaded, pull the trigger. Yeah, straight to the top of the hole, takes the driver's head off, detonates. Excellent. Thanks a shot there from whatever the fuck that was. I believe that's an STB hiding around the corner. He is not coming around while I have my gun pointed in that direction. That's perfectly fine by me. I don't care if I don't get the kill. I just want to get my track prepared so I can get in that cap circle and get me some yummy points. He's dropping artillery on me. I couldn't really care less at this stage. Use the machine gun, take the fence down. Interesting fact about the machine gun. With the British, we seem to think that it was a good idea to have one gun for taking out infantry and one gun for spotting. The 50 cal was for taking out infantry, and I think I have this the right way around. The 7.62mm 30 caliber was for spotting targets, right? As a result, the guns fire at different rates. The one gun is set to burst fire after holding the trigger down for so long. The one gun will fire continuously, the other one will fire in 3-round bursts. Not that this really matters, just from a gameplay perspective in War Thunder, because there isn't infantry, and although you can use your machine guns for marking targets for the rest of your team, it doesn't really help you, get your aim in as such. So I'm going to sit in this building because I know they'll be coming from my right. Hello, what's this? Oh, a dead leopard. Bugger, missed it by a few seconds. Never mind. Keep my eyes peeled. This is a mistake I make in a lot of my tanks. If they're too fast, I'm urging, like itching to push up quickly, and it never ends well for me. Ooh, saw a cloud of dust over there from a gunshot. That is... Ooh, hello, RU-251. Over the fucking hill, one shot, straight into the side of the turret, sets him on fire, ruins absolutely everything.
I tried to aim down a little bit here, but I missed the velocity and the shell goes straight into the dirt, and that cost me the kill. But that's perfectly fine. Kill assist, I'm happy with that. At this stage, it's just credits and experience, both of which I desperately need. I'm almost bankrupt. Get some more shells on board. Peek the corner, I just saw a gunshot from the top of that hill. Try and rotate the hull. Notice this is me moving forward as well. That is as fast as as you will turn. So stick it in reverse. In a second now. Fair play, the side skirt armour in this thing is absolutely ruined. Must have been that leopard that shot at me earlier. You notice I'm scouting, constantly scouting. I need to make sure that nothing gets around the side of me.
Attention to the map.
Let me know how the sound quality is for my speech during this video, by the way, in the comments. I'd be really thankful. Another gaffer, another one-shot kill. Unlike the Leopard, you don't have to worry about machine guns or, you know, small cannons in this tank very much. Not from the front, anyway. But that's why I angled my armour towards him, because I was anticipating him trying to get around the side of me. Gepards may be bigger than you, but they're a damn sight more manoeuvrable because they don't weigh half as much. So that Leopard just shit himself as I tried to take a shot at him when he reversed back over the ridge. Again, as with the STB-1 earlier, this is perfectly fine. I'm more than happy to sit here. I can kill him before he can get his gun on me if he comes over that ridgeline. Although the same also applies for me, should I try to do the same thing. Which I do. Don't worry though, we haven't gotten to the deathy bit yet. So I'll push up, poke the ridge. I don't mind him seeing the top of my turret, it won't be able to penetrate it easily anyway. There he is, he's looking at me. I do have enemy tanks to the left of me and enemy tanks to the right. Friendly tanks, sorry, to the left and right of me. Most of which are behind me, but that's perfectly fine, so long as they're keeping an eye on what I'm doing. As the old saying goes, give your friendly team targets and they will shoot at them. I can guarantee you that. They want credits and experience just as much as you do. Ow. What the hell was that? Cloud dust over to the left. That is another Leopard. Not to worry, gun's still up. Pull the trigger, take out his cannon barrel. He's not going to shoot back at me anymore. Now my flank's covered. Driver's still, come on, I'm hammering the fire button here. And the reload comes in just at the right time. Straight through the front of the Leopard. Criticals everything in his tank. And fire again. That should have killed him really, but that's fine. I'm not too concerned. As you can see, the reload rate on this gun is very impressive. In comparison to, say, the T62, it is very good. I don't know how, I can't remember off the top of my head how fast the Russian medium tanks reloads are at this tier, but I imagine it's nearly the same. They might be a bit faster because those are 100mm guns as opposed to 120mm guns, but there won't be that much difference, I'm sure. Especially not when you get the reload rate down in this tank as much as you can. Another Leopard, not paying attention. Yeah. One-shot kills are quite common in this tank, despite the 152mm of penetration, as I said earlier. It really does not matter. If you hit something, it's dead. It's just dead. But you, as with heat shells, you need to be careful not to fire into the tracks of enemy vehicles, because the tracks are quite likely to just eat the shot up, and it doesn't do anything. Alright, so I've got two tanks in front of me. One of them seems to be another STB-1, and I'm not entirely sure what the other one is. It might be another STB-1 actually. One is down there in front of me, one is to the left. Our Centurion Mark 10 there is spraying him with his machine gun. I'm well aware that he's there, but as I said, as with the two times before, I am in no rush to move. I'm quite happy sat here. They have to push me first. They don't know that my gun's out, or at least the one that didn't shoot me doesn't know that my gun's out, so they're not going to be in any rush to rush me either. I'm in a divot in the round, so they can't hit me very easily. I'm having artillery dropped on me. Chieftain, Centurion, sorry, obviously using smoke shells there quite wisely. 10 seconds till the repair's up. we are winning this game quite happily at the moment. I'm happy to say, by the way, that this game was indeed a victory. I'll put the screenshot of the results at the end just so you can have some idea of what you'd earn in this tank. Because even though I respawned in my Centurion, I didn't actually get any kills or do anything in that tank. It was all my Chieftain for this game. I'm hungry for the kill here. Push, push, push. Fire blind. I don't know how the hell that bounced, but that was an extreme angle, and he takes me out. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the review. Please leave comments, like, share, subscribe, what have you. It really helps out the channel. And I'll see you in my next video.